la 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 la. Hi. It's a little bit after 3:30 on a Tuesday, which is typically my personal CEO day. So yeah, we've already tackled a bunch of conflicts already this morning in the XMH Empire. And I want to say something. I used to be so terrified of conflict. So terrified of conflict. I understand when people hate the word boundaries terrifies them. They don't like conflict. They run from conflict, and I get it. I feel all those same feelings in my body. They're so big. You're just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It feels like you're in the principal's office. If you went to a normal like public or private school when you're a kid, you understand the principal's office feeling. Whenever I would hear of conflict or people being mad at me or people being like wanting to like getting the text, can we talk? Have you ever gotten that text before? Can we talk? And you're like, what do they need to talk to me about? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then your body goes into fight or flight, you get a trauma response, and you just can't even count down to like the moment of when the conversation is going to happen. You're like planning what you're going to say. You know what I mean? This is the class about that. So hi, welcome to day 2. If you're just joining in live, if you're brand new to our community, welcome to the XMH Empire. My name is Xtina Harmsworth. If you're an OG, hashtag the word OG, like the letters OG, meaning you are an original gangsta. You've been here for quite a while. You've been in this space. You can hashtag OG and take your space. If you're brand new to this community, please hashtag I'm new here so that we can welcome you and that we know who you are. This space is growing by leaps and bounds all the time, partially due to me doing content creation like Reels. People are discovering our account on Instagram and TikTok. And so this community has been growing by more and more people every single day. So if you're brand new here, just hashtag I'm new here. We're all nice. I promise we don't bite. And we want to welcome you in. So this is day 2 of this month's Masterclass, or AKA Life Class. What you can expect inside this place is that every single month I drop a badass class for you guys. Now, I am not one of those people who advertises masterclasses and just tells my life story and then pitches you at the end. I call that the riff and pitch masterclass. Have you attended one of those? Have you gone to someone's masterclass and you thought that it was going to be big vibes and they just told their life story and riffed for 40 minutes and then pitched you to buy their shit? That is called a riff and pitch. This is not that. This right here is a life class. My personal intention every time that I teach one of these classes is that I want to give you principle-based teaching that you will walk away and your life will change after this free content. And if you love this type of free content, you will be informed that you and I might be a great match to work together. And that is the point. So this is a full consent course, meaning you consent to be here, I consent to teach, and it will allow you to know whether we're a good match to move forward. Now, we're on day 2. Day 1 yesterday was a big vibe. We talked a lot about energy leaks. We talked about boundary lines. I came prepared with a full page of notes. We talked about what is an energy leak, what's happening cosmically that's allowing a lot of us to have to look at our personal lives and our commitments. We talked yesterday about reciprocal relationships. We talked about input, output, and flow, and recognizing what relationships and things in your life put you in each energy. Now, if you missed yesterday, I highly suggest you go back. You don't need to watch it before you watch this, but it's gonna be pivotal for you for 2023. So I highly suggest that you watch the first module, even if you're dropping in for right now, just for day 2. So yesterday we also talked about evaluating who is worth having a boundaries conversation with. And that led a lot of people to start asking questions in the chat. And we got some inboxes overnight, people saying, can you talk about boundaries with your spouse? What about boundaries in business? And I think that today's class, day 2 of Big Girl Boundaries, is really going to set a pace and help you to understand how to navigate these big girl conversations with big girl boundaries and succeed and stop being afraid and terrified of conflict. First, I want to say if you're somebody who gets scared when there's conflict, I see you. For so many of us, conflicts and fights, they represent something for us. Whether you grew up in an environment that felt volatile whenever there was an argument, how many can relate to that? It's like when people got loud, it got scary. When people got mad, it got scary. Who are those people for me? Raise your hands. You can say like, big fights scare me. We have that in the room. Then we also have people they've never seen healthy conflict. It's like there was a dominant role person or parent in their life, and then there was someone who was totally submissive. They never saw conflict modeled because one person was just a doormat and just never spoke up for themselves, right? So a lot of us have that going on too, where either big conflicts scare us or we've never seen healthy conflict. And so then we grow up and we're just supposed to know what the heck to do, and we don't. And then when conflict comes up, we're like, I don't know what to say. Which results in a lot of like in your head conversations. How many of you guys have conversations with yourself in the mirror? How many of you guys have fake conversations in your head of what you wished you would have said after a conflict is over? How many of you leading up to having a conversation around boundaries, it's like you imagine all the things that you should say and then you never even say them? Anybody? I've lived a lifetime of this too. And I'm finally at a place where boundaries feel glorious to me. Boundaries feel so good. Conflict doesn't terrify me anymore. I know I can hold it. I'm confident that I can express what I need to say effectively. And I want to give credit where credit is due. I learned this from like 25 mentors in the last several years. Since 2019, I have personally invested $250,000 to learn business, but a lot of what I learned was this right here. How to create boundaries, how to step into my big girl energy. And when I say big girl, I don't mean the size of my body. I mean big energy. I mean big destiny. I mean big future, big goals, big vision. And we have to step into that version of ourselves going into conflict and boundaries, because there's a format of you, there's a higher self version of you who does know what you want on the other side of a conflict. And there's a bigger energy version of you that's loving, responsible, not in victimhood, and clear. And today, I want to help you step into that version of you. So keep on throwing me comments. Here's the vibe. As I'm teaching, what feels really reciprocal for me is while you're watching live, if you can throw me comments, it means the world. I'm going to ask for a lot of participation because I know that when you guys participate with the comments or you write down like your light bulb moments or your reactions, you'll get more out of this. So I'm going to be asking for your participation. And one of the very first things that I want to ask for is I do have a favorite emoji, and my favorite emoji is the lightning bolt. To me, it represents big frequency, big energy, light bulb moments, big vibes. So if I say something live today that's huge for you, do me a favor and throw me lightning bolts. And when we move from like point to point, I want you to give me lightning bolts to let me know that you're still here. I'm going to ask you for big engagement because if you engage, you're going to get more out of this. And that's going to be reciprocal. I'm here to give you a big, big, big life class today. And I want to know that you're in it with me. Okay? So I am seeing, ooh, and I see bees from Linda King. Buzzy. I love it. Okay. So yesterday's program was mostly based on just getting to know your own self and how your interpersonal relationships are. It wasn't really dedicated to entrepreneurs. Today's program is dedicated to the everyday amazing woman and also entrepreneurs. Because a lot of these conversations around boundaries, they have to be had in your personal life and in business. You need both and. So if you need both and, comment both and. You know you got to shore this up with your personal life. You know that you're lacking boundaries in business and it's a money block. A lot of us are asking the universe for business growth. We say we want more money. We say we desire more clients. And also there's an incompletion or an open circle with our personal boundaries and our personal life and our personal relationships. And so the universe is saying, we love you and we'd love to give that thing to you, except you got big old energy leaks. And so you can't even hold this thing if we give it to you. You will self-destruct. Based on yesterday's conversation and based on just the first couple minutes of this, talking about conflict, if your body went into fight, flight, or freeze when I started talking about conflict, we know that there's an open circle there. There's an energy leak. There's an incompletion. And so try as you might to get more clients. Try as you might to get more business. Try as you might to have deeper conversations and greater relationships with other women or with your mother or with your partner. If you have incompletions and energy leaks with boundaries, it's a blocker. Lack of boundaries is cock blocking the universe from giving you your deepest desires. It is God saying, not this way, baby. I'd love to give you all of that, and if I give it to you this way, you will self-destruct. You will not be able to hold the energy of this long term. How you're doing things now is not healthy. For some of you, the jet just landed. It just became crystal clear to you. Like, oh my God, you're right. If I had 90 people in my life that were like my worst relationship, I would probably die. For a moment, I want you to imagine the hardest relationship in your life right now. The one that has the most conflict. If you can picture the person in your head right now, can you throw me a thought bubble in the comments? I want you to picture the person or the situation that holds the most conflict for you right now. Picture it. Got him? If you don't have a thought bubble, you can say, got it. Can you see based on yesterday how there might be an incompletion there? An energy leak. You spend time with that person or in that situation and it feels like all the gas went out of your balloon. After interacting there, you feel like you need a nap. Principle number 1 today, I want to teach you about the plate analogy. Okay? Because the feeling that you have in your body right now, when you picture that person, imagine you as an individual have a plate. This is the energetic plate of life. So picture your plate. And imagine all the energy that you have with this conflict is taking up space on your plate. All of your incompletions are on this plate. All of your completions that need completed, your incompletions that need completed, every conflict, every conversation you've got to have, it's all taking up space on your plate energetically. It's kind of like going to Chinese buffet and there was a whole bunch of options, and so you just loaded a bunch of shit on your plate and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. And then you realize, wow, there's a whole different quality of food available. Like, oh my God, maybe I don't want to eat this anymore. Maybe this isn't the right thing for me anymore. Oh my gosh. And you see them for what they are. You see it as low nutritional food. It's not good input. Your energy plate is full of a bunch of low nutrition stuff. These relationships, these conflicts, these places you've been hanging out, you're like, God, these are not nutritional. They're not good input for my body, for my soul, for my energy body. And you look at it, you realize what it is, and you go like, wow, I have all this stuff on my plate. And also, I think I prefer to eat a super nutritional, healthy microgreens, power food, and steak. And so hypothetically, you're asking the universe for something else. You're like, I'm sick of all the stuff that's on my plate. It's taking up all this energy. Like, it's not nutritional for me. It's not nourishing me. God, give me something else. And God and the universe are like, yeah, but your plate's still full. You're asking to swap out, but your plate is still full. We want to give you what you're asking for, but there's no space on your energy plate for more. Is it landing? You're praying and asking for something else. A lot of you are praying for more clients. And the energy of the universe, God, your guardian angels, everyone is looking at your plate and they're like, her plate is so full right now. And until she completes these incompletions and moves them off the plate, we don't have space to give her more. If we gave her more right now, it would be disastrous for her. Can you see what I'm saying here? Principle number one, you have an energy plate. And by completing your incompletions, you move stuff off your plate and you make space for more. The more that you're asking for. When you complete incompletions and you close out old relationships, old conflicts, when you stop making space for commitments that are no longer aligned, you make space for what you're begging God and the universe for. But some of you have so much on your plate right now. There's no space for the more. So I'm a huge fan of doing things like clearing of your emotions, clearing of your energy. This is why I'm obsessed with programs like Clear to Soar and the Sisterhood and the Millionaire's Desk. Because in those spaces, we clear out the old and that makes space for the more. My feng shui teacher tells me every time that you want to make more money, take stuff out of your house. Which is so counterintuitive when you think about it. It's like, well, doesn't rich mean more? Like you would have more stuff? But it's like, no, energetically, when you're asking for more and higher quality, you actually have to take things out to ask for more. So whenever there's money stagnation, I take like 11 things out of my house. I learned that from Charmaine Mitchell. If your plate is full and you're begging God for more, there's no space for it, and you're asking for higher quality and better quality and more, there's something called energetic protection that says, I'm not going to give you more to rot on this plate with all this other stuff. You can't handle it. Clear your plate some, and I will give you the better quality. Principle number 1, clear your energetic plate of the things that are not nutritional for the soul. Has the eagle landed? You could put a jet landing if that landed. I think my shirt's inside out. It is. I'm totally wearing an inside out shirt. It is what it is. That's so funny. Okay. All right. Laura Moffat, Dr. L says, dang, makes sense though. Yes, take the less out to make room for the more. Amazing. Linda said, oh, fuck. Okay, then Linda is our manager. We love her. All right, so cool. It's landing for you guys. And I can only see my stuff on here. I can't see you guys' comments on the other phone. So periodically I'm going to look down and just see how you guys are doing. Okay, so that's number 1. Okay, principle number 2 is clarity. I'm going to teach you guys how to have healthy, loving boundaries. Are you down for that? Because between yesterday and just the start of this video, I know that you can picture people who are taking up space on your energetic plate. When you thought of that person or that situation, you could feel energy coursing through your body that's taking up mass on your energetic plate. And you got to clear that out to get to the more. Cool? You got to have clarity on what you desire. So our second principle here, it's clarity. Clarity. Between yesterday and today, you guys are going to get some clarity. You're going to realize what people and situations are really activating for you, and they're taking up your energy, or they're leaking out your life force energy. And you get to evaluate and have clarity and go like, you know what? If I had to deal with this times 10 or times 90 every day, this would be a problem. So I'm going to give you a business example right now. Everyone has challenging stuff in business. If you are really doing something big in business, there's going to be challenging conversations, sometimes challenging client interactions, sometimes challenging vendors, right? I have my share of them. Now, I attract the most phenomenal humans, and I'm so proud of that. And even with that being said, we're all growing. So I'm going to give you an example right now. We just hosted a retreat. Super luxury, high level. It costs us a lot to put these retreats on. It just is what it is. And one of the current conflicts in our life is that our vendor accidentally double charged us for a section of the event. We left the event, got home, we were relishing the moment. We were like, God, that was so good. Like 8 out of 10. We did amazing. And we got home, and that Monday morning, we got a bunch of charges on our debit card, which we pre-authorized for them to charge us. And they amounted to $11,000, like $11,300, and then another $55, and then another $23. We've been getting all these charges. Their events team and their front desk team weren't synced up. And so we are double charged for portions of the event because there was lack of communication. I don't know about you, but when someone overcharges me $11,000, I would call that a conflict. It's a conflict. So you always have options. If you are terrified of conflict, a lot of people go straight to mad. Pissed off. It's like, how dare they? For me, I felt, my personal trigger was it felt like a breach of trust, because I was like, listen, we have spent like over 6 figures with this company. They have our card on file. This feels like an abuse of authority. They never even let us know what the charge was for. It felt like garbage, you know? I was like, I just would never do that to someone. So that was my initial response, was I was just like turned off. It was off-putting. But that conflict, there's a way to act to get the result that you want, and then there's a way to not act. And I want to teach that to you today. So I want to start with clarity. What is it that I desire? Well, I desire my money back. So beyond feeling activated, the first thing that I had to do with clarity was I had to reach out to our debit card authorization company. I had to get screenshots. I had to get records of everything and make sure that I wasn't wrong. Take notes here. When there's conflict, you want to get clarity and find out whether you're even right or not. So I did some digging, pulled all the records, sent screenshots to this company, was so kind. I was just like, hey, we love doing business with you guys. Picked up the phone instead of being pissed off. Picked up the phone and was just like, oh my God, we had the best event with you guys. Thank you for everything. It means the world. I'm calling because I am doing the math on this, and I'm finding that like we don't have record for why these specific charges were authorized, and we weren't expecting them. Can you look into it for me? I had clarity about what I wanted, and I had clarity of the facts. Clarity. Clarity is so key. And there's been consistent communication and follow-up where I'm not activated or pissed off about this. It's just like, I know what I want, and I'm presenting my requests with care, compassion, and respect and appreciation. Not like, I can't believe I spent all this money with you. How dare you charge me? This was so rude. It was like, hey, we want a heads up if you're going to charge us. Can you document why you charged it? Let us know. And when there wasn't fast enough resolution, we reached out to our debit card company and we just said, hey, we got double charged. We didn't authorize it. They're trying to figure it out. They can't figure it out. Can you send an official request for the money back? And then we let the company know. We let our vendor know, hey, we reached out to our debit card company because of this overcharge. You're going to see on your end, they're going to request the funds back. Now, technically, we were filing an unauthorized charge fraud complaint. If we would have said that, like, hey, we marked this charge fraudulent, they would have been like, right? It would have put them on edge. But instead, we have clarity around what we want, and there's emotional intelligence in the conversation. Long story short, we're getting the money back. We just had to present the facts. So the first thing that I want to say is clarity. You got to know what you even want. If you go into having a conversation that is a protection line around your energy, you have to have clarity around what you want out of it. Another way that this happens in business is when it comes to onboarding clients or having more clients. You have to have clarity in how you want to interact with people, how available you are, what are your business hours, when do you respond to people, when do you not respond to people, what's out of bounds in terms of the relationship. Clarity. Because the thing about boundaries is, if you don't actually have a boundary line, so just imagine you are an energy body. So imagine you are all energy. You're so much energy. Your physical body is a masculine structure that holds your energy body. And as you become more emotionally intelligent, this energy body gets bigger, 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 and expands out past you to make impact. And as it expands, you have to protect your energy from leakages. So a boundary line, I want you to imagine that you have this beautiful, like light purple like prism, like a, how do we say this? Is prism the right word? Like think of a triangle, like all around you. That's a boundary line that keeps your energy protected and keeps other people's energy out that you don't want in. A boundary line, write this down in your notes. This is around clarity. A boundary line is a communication that protects your life source energy. It informs people of how you two will interact. A boundary line is an agreement between two parties. If you don't have a line there around your energy, and people come in and take from you, and your energy leaks out everywhere into the nether worlds, they don't know they did anything wrong. In fact, they felt invited to take it. So you've got to be clear, what's your boundary? Well, my personal boundary is, with a vendor, I need documentation of every single charge of why you're charging me. And if you cannot provide documentation of why you're charging my account, because I'm happy to pay if it's fair. I am so happy to pay for everyone who bills me stuff if it's fair. But if you cannot document for me what you're charging me for, my boundary line is, I'm gonna call that fraudulent, and I'm getting my money back. That's a line. That's an agreement between two parties. Just because you have my card on file doesn't mean you get to charge me and not tell me what it's for. You see? So that's my line. That's the line. And I get to communicate that as a client. Now, with my clients, I have boundary lines around my inboxes. Watch this. So if I'm an energy body that is constantly expanding into the atmosphere and getting bigger, better, greater, right? I have to protect my energy. So I'm imagining I have like this nice triangle pyramid around my energy body that is a line that protects my love, my life, my heart, my vital life source. And so when people join my containers as a client, I have very clear boundaries. I want you to know something. Whenever you check out on our checkout pages, there's a place called terms and conditions. Write down T plus C, T and C, T and C, T and C, terms and conditions. Boundary lines are terms and conditions. T and C. Whenever you check out on my website, you should read the T and C. It's going to tell you how it operates. It's going to tell you when you get billed, how you get billed, the length of the container. Almost across the board, when you sign up for a membership with me, it's going to tell you up front, this is a 1-year agreement without the possibility of canceling. And if you say yes to this, you're committing to a year. I like to work with people for set periods of time, and they're listed in the terms and conditions. Whether it's 6 weeks or 6 months or a year, it will say in the terms and conditions, here is clarity on how we roll together. So I have a line around my inbox. My team checks my inbox. If clients try to message me personally for coaching or responses that they aren't paying for, like they're maybe in a group coaching container. Well, that's a group coaching container, and no private coaching access is given with that. So if people message me outside of that container, my team responds. 99% of the time. Maybe on a weekend, or if it's feeling good, I might jump in there. But one of my clarity pieces is like, when someone joins a group program, they get group coaching. They don't get side access to me. Private coaching is not group coaching. If you're in the Millionaire's Desk and you side message me on Marco Polo, like a private chat with me on Marco Polo is $10,000 plus a month. So clarity, I'm not going to answer. That protects my energy. Do you see what I'm saying? My team answers those. I don't answer those. I don't coach for free. That's a boundary. That's a line. That's an agreement between me and the world of what works for me. You guys get to have TNC on your life. You get to inform people how to interact with you. Having business hours is part of your terms and conditions with clients and with life. If people don't know that you answer your clients between a certain set number of hours and they just keep messaging you and you feel like, oh my God, they're having a crisis, I have to respond. And so you respond, then forever they're within your boundary line because they have no idea that you have a boundary. Your energy is leaking out because you have not completed your terms and conditions. You have not given people clarity on what it looks like to walk with you in life. There is no line. So it's not even that they're crossing a line. There just is no line. So people feel entitled to you. If you don't have business hours, if you don't have terms and conditions, if you don't have contracts with your clients, if you don't have outlines that are clear at checkout on how people interact with you, like, I love you, and also that's your fault. This was a hard pill for me to swallow. And right now, cosmically, we are being asked to look at this. Moving into a fresh season of life, we are being asked to look at, where have I not had clarity in my communication with people? When you feel conflict, or you feel walked on, or you feel violated, or you feel used, is it possible that you have not had clarity around what you require in agreement to do life together? Hard pill for me to swallow. I had a lot of lack of clarity personally. So now I'm getting too hot. So this inside out sweatshirt is coming off. So for our team and I, a big thing that's been happening lately is, like, we hired our attorney to go through every single agreement that we have. Our terms and conditions on our websites, our year-long agreements with clients, and to make sure that everything was crystal clear in how we operate together. Because a part of having big girl boundaries is you have to also step into your big girl and read what the fuck you sign. Like, I love you and I am allowing whatever needs to come through right now to come through. And this was also a huge lesson for me. I have said yes to so many things because I got excited and I did not read the fine print. Finally, I can see comments. Yes. Okay, I can shut this thing off. Yeah. So, like, part of growing up and part of being a big girl is to know what you're saying yes to. This transitions into personal life and in business, because if people have done you the courtesy of being clear of what it takes to walk with them and you don't read it, and then like a month, 2 months, 5 months later, you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I lovingly, have you looked at the contract? This is relationships and business. When a partner literally tells you up front, this is who I am, this is how I am, this is what I need, and you get so pumped, yes, 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 I just adore you. I adore them. Yes. And then you get 5 months down the road and you're like, oh shit, they literally told me that this was the vibe. Well, a marriage is a contract, but a lot of situationships and relationships are not, and they are subject and open to having renegotiation, which is awesome. And even inside of a marriage, you get to draw boundaries, right? Contract law is contract law. So like you did sign something and there are penalties for leaving a marriage. My penalties are I would pay a mofo 50%. Like back then I couldn't even see a vision for this, and by no means do I want any of that with my partner. But like if my husband and I ever parted ways, like before I even knew what we would become or how great it was going to be or what things were going to transpire, like I literally signed on the dotted line of the universe, like I marry this person and they get 50%. Wow. Highly motivating for me to learn how to communicate boundaries in my own marriage because I don't want to lose it. I like the contract. Sometimes we make fast decisions and we don't even know what we're signing. And then it gets brought to our attention later on when it's uncomfortable. Yes, I know it's uncomfortable. And also you signed here. You signed up for this. Year-long coaching containers are like that. And this is where as a big energy person, a big girl, a big destiny girl, I have signed on the dotted line for a year and I knew what the fuck I was signing because I learned this lesson a long time ago. I learned about contracts a long time ago. So I read what I sign. Big girl boundaries. So I knew what I was signing. And honestly, I've gotten halfway through a coaching contract for a year and I didn't like it anymore. And you know what I did? I learned this from my mentor. My word is law. And I know that if I violate my word to myself and other people, that does something karmically. So when I didn't like something halfway through, you know what I did? I paid off the fucking balance and I checked out of the group. Because on a universal and cosmic and contract level, like I was complete. I paid my dues and then I bounced. I didn't say, I know I signed for a year, but I don't like this anymore. Fuck you. Find a new client to take my spot. Because karmically, that does something. I've not done that. I don't break contracts. I keep my word. When I signed energetically, I made a contract in the universe. I shook hands in the universe with my mentor for $120,000. And she said, I want to make sure that you understand this is a strict 1-year commitment and there's no possibility of canceling. And I said, I understand and I agree. 4 months into it, there was a huge rupture and I hated it. If I had not known, oh man, I literally signed a universal contract. I shook her hand in the universe that I would walk this out no matter how easy or hard it would be. I stuck it out. And God, I was happy I stuck it out. There was so much more there for me, even though I wanted to check out. So clarity, know what you're signing. Even if it's not a contract, know what you're agreeing to with people. When you get into a new relationship, have the talks. Clarity. When you hire a mentor, if you join something in my world, I love you. And for fuck's sake, read the terms and conditions. So many people lately have been like, I heard I can pause my subscription. And Jesse's like, screenshot. No, you can't. Screenshot, like, here's what you signed. I love you. We appreciate you. And also, this is a contract. And, ooh, okay, this is uncomfortable. But like now that we have legal representation, we're getting to a place where like when people default, I don't have anything to do with it anymore. I literally hand it over to someone else and they either attempt to recoup the funds or it escalates legally. And I'm out of the picture. This is big girl business. You know what happens if you don't pay your phone bill? They send it to a credit reporting agency. Hiring someone whose livelihood is to coach and mentor you through the most uncomfortable shit in your life and flaking on them, deuces, peace out, like we're no different. And in the past, I've been so like, oh man, like I feel bad. I love them. They're such a great client. They're just going through a hard time. Sprint, the car dealership, nobody else does this. But for some reason, people expect that women in business should be a softie and just let it slide. And as much as I love my clients, like, no. It's contract law. It doesn't work like that. This is an energetic boundary around our whole business, our whole team, our whole staff. Because if people decide not to fulfill their contracts and their agreements, that puts us in a pinch to go fix it. And a lot of you guys don't take yourself seriously enough in business, so you just would never even do this to someone. You're like, oh my God, I'm too nice. Like I have outstanding, invoices. I've done services and no one paid me. I'm selling things on the cheap. And I'm like, big girl conversations, big girl boundaries. Because the thing is, if you've never communicated to your people, your families, your clients, what it takes to walk with you, they don't even know that there's a line being crossed. This is why we have terms and conditions on our website. So that when people say, I heard I can pause my subscription, and we can give clarity, we can screenshot and say, this is what you agreed to. It's not possible to cancel it. Big girl boundaries. I love you. This is the TNC. Oofda. You think that's not uncomfortable for us? But here's the thing. It's more uncomfortable to be broke and have your business shut down. It's more uncomfortable to not have a line and to have people message you on the weekends, message you on the side, get private coaching for free. It's more uncomfortable to not be able to pay your team, which I've never had that happen. But if I just let people default left, right, and center and there was no meaning to their word, I would have a reputation for that, and I don't desire that. I want to walk with people who are so serious about their healing, their elevation, their energy getting larger, growing brands if that's their desire, healing sisterhood wounds, becoming the next level iteration of self. Like, I desire women who are on the rise. And part of why I get paid so beautifully is that I will hold the standard for people to step into their power and rise. That's what people are paying me for. Ooh, yes. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, so we've got clarity. You got to know, what are your terms and conditions? What does it take for people to walk with you? Who are you in relationship, and what do you allow? What do you not allow? When are you not available? When are you available? I think across the XMH Empire Galaxy, people know I take Thursday off. You will be talking to my team in the inbox. I take weekends off. If I choose to be present on social media, I am. And I also reserve the right to not be helpful. I'm living my fucking life. I hope you would do the same. This is part of my boundaries. It's the energetic protection around my life. This is the how we interact. Clarity. You have to know what you want and be able to communicate that. Otherwise, people, they don't see a line. They will cross your line forever. They have no idea that there's a line. And then you're mad about an invisible line that they crossed that they didn't know about. So that's on you. You see? Helpful? I know, it's a big girl conversation. It makes you squirm. You're like, shit. And the heart of this, you guys, it's so loving. It's that I want to raise integrity. I want to raise integrity in women. I want to raise integrity in family. I want to raise integrity in the coaching industry. I want to raise integrity in entrepreneurship. A lot of people have given entrepreneurship a bad name, especially quote unquote small businesses, because they use their smallness of their business to explain the smallness in their boundaries and the smallness in their integrity and the smallness in their deliverables. And I'm like, raise the vibe. When you say yes to something, number one, know what you said yes to, and number two, do it. Like fulfill. Like, let your yes be yes. That's integrity. Let your yes be yes. There's a coaching container that I've been in for a year that I didn't find helpful since December. I paid it in full because my yes was a yes. I paid that mentor to hold a spot for me in her program, to energetically hold space for me to be there and participate. If I chose not to participate, it doesn't mean that I'm let go from paying her, because I'm taking up a spot in her life. So I paid my contract, I paid my word, and I paid my respect, and I exited the container energetically. I just don't participate in there anymore. My yes was a yes. It wasn't like halfway through, give me my money back. I want to pause. Life isn't good. I don't like your training. No, like I took up a spot. My yes is my yes. When I sign up for a gym membership, if I don't fucking show up at the gym, but I signed for a year contract, and they told me in the terms and conditions, this is a strict year. We're going to bill you for a year. Like, this is on you to show up. And if I get to December and I go, I never used this, can I get my money back? They'd be like, you said. We held the gym open for you. We paid the light bill. We paid these trainers to show up. We maintained the equipment. We paid for the place to be cleaned. We were waiting for you. You not showing up doesn't entitle you to getting all of your money back. That part was on you. That's a boundary. This is the terms and conditions. This is the line around their brand. It says, this is how you work in our world. Here's your check-in. Here's how you do it. Here's how we operate. We'll show you the ropes if you show up. You see? Oof! That's so funny, Raven. Okay, so we have principle number 2 was clarity. Okay? Principle number 3, write it down. Principle number 3 is intention. Intention. Intention, intention, intention. Clarity means know what you want and freaking communicate it. Intention. What's your intent in the relationship? This is helpful for romantic relationships. This is for family, and this is for business. There's intention that I have with my family. I have an intention with my husband, my daughters, my mom, to have just an incredible, lifelong relationship. I want it forever. I want to be constantly evolving, constantly closer. I want to be a fun machine. I want to live and make a bazillion memories with them. I want open dialogue. I want secure connection. I need that. I want that. That's my intention. Okay? With my clients, I have an intention. When people walk with me for sisterhood and healing, my intention is to take them through places like Clear to Soar, and help them emotionally evolve past the things that are keeping their hot air balloon tied to the ground. I want to see women empowered. I want to see women rising. I want to see women stepping into maturation, emotional freedom, evolution. And when people coach with me for businesses, I would love to see them get a 10x return on every dollar that they spend on me or more. That's my intention. This year in places like Locked and Loaded, my intention is to help build minimum 6-figure returns for our clients. That's my intention. So I know what my intention is in these relationships. I also have clarity around when and where I show up for those. I know how I show up. I know how we interact. I've made it clear. Like in Locked and Loaded, who's in Locked and Loaded? Do you guys feel really clear about how we communicate? It's like, okay, what are the terms of Locked and Loaded? You get trainings every Wednesday of the year, most Fridays of the year, all access pass to all of our paid training spaces, okay? Every week you have a personal checkpoint with me, with your tracker, and one day a month we have an all-day VIP day. I have clarity, so I have an energetic line around how we show up. Boop, 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 boop. I got a line. They all know. They all know the lines so that we can interact and walk together. They know what's expected. I know my intention is to build an army of 6-figure plus returns. Developing the skills of female entrepreneurs, helping their emotional intelligence rise and their business skill to rise with their personal brands. That's my intention. I'm crystal fucking clear that that's my intention. And so when I show up, I walk in that intention. With the tracking sheet, that's my intention. With our mastermind days, that's my intention. With every Wednesday training and every Friday training, these are my intentions. I know what my intentions are and I'm clear about them. So when we walk together, there's ease and flow. I know what my intentions are with my family. So when I'm like in the vibe of family, and Linda can tell you this, I'm getting really neurotic. I even made a chart for this because we now track our business stuff on tracking sheets. I track my nutrition on tracking sheets, and now we have a household tracker. And like we have this cute checkboard where like we initial. Linda puts an L if she does the thing. I put an X if I do the thing. Brad puts a B if he does the thing. And like I have an intention with my kids of how I want them to feel with me. So when Linda's not here and it's mama o'clock, like I know that I want to have the best relationship on earth with my kids when they're in their teens, their 20s, their 30s, and I'm fostering that right now. So when I show up there, I know that that's my intention. And so the way that we operate our house is like to feed that now. Intention. So the vibe. I know. Linda said, I love the chart. I catch myself making it a competition for myself. I know. I love the chart too. It's got cute stuff in it like bedtime ritual and reading and a stroller walk and going to the park. It's like all the stuff that, you know, I want to do with my kids. I want to make memories. I want them to feel good. I want them to feel safe at night. I don't know. It's just all these things. Anyways, so our principle number 1 was understanding the energy plate. You got to take stuff off your plate to make space for the more. And as you make space for the more, you need clarity around what you really desire. You've got to have an intention when you walk into all of your relationships. Are we ready for the next principle? We good? Are you ready? If you're ready for the next principle, write principle 4. So we had energy plate, clarity, intention. We're on number 4. Ready? Oh my gosh, it's 4:33 and 33 people are watching. Yes. Okay, give me some lightning bolts if you're ready for number 4. I want to make sure that you're here and you're alive and you're alert and you're well and all the things. Okay, so principle number 4 is responsibility. At the end of this, you're going to be like, oh my God, you taught me a whole thing, but I've got to build up to it. So write down responsibility. So far we have clarity, intention, and now we have responsibility. When it comes time for you to shore up and close the gap on energy leaks, you are going to realize that there are people that deserve a conversation. When you look at your energy plate and you go like, oh my gosh, there are so many things that need a conversation. There are so many people that need a conversation, and I've been boundaryless for all this time, and now I'm going to have to tell people that I have a boundary. It can be shocking to people to realize that they have even crossed your boundary. If you've never had a boundary, they can feel humiliated that they crossed it. I'm going to give you a real life example of this. If my mother, who I love, was ever to be like, listen, I don't like it when you call me after 7 p.m. I'm tired. I've had a long day. I don't have bandwidth for that. My job is hard for me right now. And when you call, I just don't have space for you. It's irritating. And you've been calling me all the time. If I had no idea any of that was going on, and there was never a boundary line drawn around my mom's energetic life force, I would be so humiliated. I would instantly feel so guilty, like, oh my God, I had no idea I was bothering you that bad, and now I feel horrible. And it would cause retreat. And that communication would have been my mom telling me like, hey, I've had this invisible line. I don't have bandwidth. I don't have space. You've been crossing my line 24/7. And I would have been like, I didn't even know that you had a line. I am so sorry. But I would be humiliated. So what I want to say is, and I'm going to bring this in closer. What I want to say is, you're going to realize that there are people that they need a conversation with you. Because you've had all these energetic lines around you that you have not communicated. So people don't even know that you have a line, and they're just coming across your line and taking your energy, and your life force is exiting your body every single day. And they don't know you have a line. And when you're ready to communicate to people that there's a way that you want to interact with them, you've gotten clarity about what's not working. You've gotten clarity around how you want to be treated. You've gotten clarity around what's not working. And a lot of that you learn by doing. You learn when it's 2020 vision. You're like, well, fuck, I should have set a boundary. Well, it's not too late. Okay? But when it's time to set clarity and intention with people, you've got to take personal responsibility. This is where responsibility comes in. And when I say responsibility, there's a thing in my team and a thing in my life that we call like massive personal responsibility. So massive personal responsibility. When you go to have this conversation, you've got clarity, you have an intention of how you want to interact. Massive personal responsibility sounds like this. Imagine we are 5 days post-retreat. I've just poured my heart and soul into our clients for 9 days straight. I met a version of me that's like a year out from now. I just had like a soul evolution with clients for 9 days, and I'm coming home from that, and I feel like I am calibrating on steroids. Now, my husband is incredible, and he's a detailed thinker, and he researches world events, and he knows the latest in politics and economic forums and all this stuff that's going on. And he also knows about a lot of conflicts that are happening right now. He knows about so many conflicts and so many things that are information heavy. Now, if I didn't have a line around me energetically and my husband came in to be like, oh my God, girl, I have to tell you this thing. I wrote this email today and I heard about Russia and Estonia and some global policing forums. If I didn't have any line around me, I would be like, shut the fuck up. That would be my internal response. I'd be like, oh my God, I cannot hold this conversation with you right now. How dare you? I have no bandwidth. What makes you think that I can even hear these global politics conversations? Like, I'm on another planet right now. How rude of you. That would be the internal monologue if I had no boundaries. But instead, I choose to do this. My husband and I went for a walk after the retreat, and I took massive personal responsibility for myself, for my feelings, for my communication. And I let him see the softness in me as a woman. Write this down. Massive personal responsibility with softness. A big reason people come into your boundary line is, number one, they don't know that it exists. I'm going to tell you, Denise. They don't know that it exists, number one, because you haven't communicated it. And number two, when people think you're really strong, they think you can handle it. When you always present as the problem solver, the fixer, the strong one, they think that you can handle whatever they bring. They're like, she's tough. It's fair game. They see how strong you are and they're like, she can handle this. And I've created an art for myself with my partner where I have let him see my soft. Oh, Denise. I showed up with my husband. We walked on the beach and I just said, babe, I feel so delicate and just tender right now. Like, I've been weepy for days. Every time that I'm like alone in the quiet or listening to affirmation music, I just want to cry. I feel like I'm on the edge of such big growth. I feel God is doing something really huge in me right now. I feel a lot of things like my tectonic plates are shifting. It makes me feel scared and kind of like uncertain and overwhelmed. And I don't know exactly what it is, but like I'm just processing everything right now and I just feel like crying. That's just where I'm at. And I know it's going to be okay. See, this is the responsibility piece. We're responsible to tell them our soft side. Our family, our team, our partner, to show the soft side. But the responsibility piece, it isn't always that they have to fix it. Because sometimes when you say that to a man, they're like, who do I gotta fight? You know? So for me, it's like, I don't need you to fix anything. Like, I don't need you to fix it. Can you just be here for me? Can we just walk? We walked on the beach for like 2 hours. Just talking. And I just said, I don't need you to fix it, but I might ask you for some encouragement. I might ask you, what do you see? But I can't handle a lot of details right now. I probably won't remember if you tell me something really huge right now. I don't know that I can hold any more conflict at the moment. So I don't need you to fix anything. Just love me. I'm having a moment. And I'll let you know when I'm ready to talk about global politics. Again. Responsibility. How this looks in other relationships when it's not your partner, when it's like someone is violating your personal standards. I'm going to use my inbox because it's relevant to work, right? So when I have clients who are in group containers, so like say it's the Millionaire's Desk, say it's Locked and Loaded, etc. And a client who pays for group coaching privately messages and they want a direct response from me, like they're messaging me on Marco Polo app, my private line for private coaching. Like my line right there is that I just don't respond. But my team reaches out and lets them know. It's like, this is the way, for clarification, this is the way that Xtina operates to preserve her relationship with her private coaching clients and the sacredness of that space. You know, if you message her privately on Marco Polo, she just doesn't look at it. So personal responsibility. I have to preserve the fact that there are people who pay me for private mentorship. So how is it fair if I privately mentor people for free? So there's clarity, there's intention, and there's responsibility. I'm responsible to protect those relationships. So my responsibility is, A, I don't respond. B, my team lets the person know. We'd love to hear that inside of this inbox. She pays the team to monitor this inbox. If there's something that, you know, you want us to pass along, we can. And also you can send it here. It's not that I'm trying to shush people or silence people. It's just, that's integrity. How can I explain to Dr. Lauren or Sin or any of my private clients who are like, they pay me for private coaching? How can I explain to them, oh yeah, I coach everyone else for free just if they message me, but you're paying me thousands of dollars? Like, no, that's an energetic line. So responsibility is me being like, for integrity's purposes, I can't. Right? In business, I really appreciate you, and here's how you can. Contact, inform, be part of the things, communicate. Okay? If it were my mother, if it were a friend, how I would have these conversations is I would go in knowing clarity, what I want. I would have intention around this relationship, because by the time that you have a conversation like this, you have figured out that this is somebody who is worth a conversation. A lot of people are not even worth this conversation because they don't have that big of a spot on your plate. But for the people who have a big spot on your plate, say it's a friend who you feel like you're growing out of the relationship with, they irritate you, they're pecking at you, like they're taking your energy, and you're going like, I cannot have you extract my life force from my body anymore. We have to have a boundary line. I've never had a boundary line, and now I have to explain this, and I'm fucking terrified. What do I do? Okay, massive personal responsibility. When you get into conversation with this person, know what you want out of it, know what your intention is. If you know that you either want to spend less time with this person or you want to spend more quality time with them on a higher level, know that before you walk in. Have an intention, like, I want to keep this relationship going. That's a clear intention. I want to invite them to rise. That's a clear intention. Okay? But massive personal responsibility looks like this. Okay, I'm going to picture someone who I feel like I've outgrown. Let me think. Okay. I would say to this person, okay, like, first of all, I have to say, I am in the craziest growth phase. I've been getting mentored since like high level since 2019. Something has happened with me. I feel so different than I did even a month ago. And what I'm finding is I don't have bandwidth to talk about certain stuff anymore. And it's totally on me. I don't have mental space or like emotional real estate to talk about like certain stuff. And we have built a whole relationship talking about a lot of that stuff. And now I'm feeling so uncomfortable personally. That's radical personal responsibility. Say it's the phone conversation with my mom. Say my mom was irritated at what time I called her and I had no idea. Instead of her saying like, you just can't call me. Like, I don't have space for you, which would hurt my feelings. I would have never known. What if she picked up the phone and she said, Xtina, I've been taking these master classes. I've been reading this book. I'm on this huge emotional journey. It's so hard to explain, but if you want to hear about it, I'll explain it. And I'm at this point where I'm just like, I'm processing so much that I have to go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night. I'm finding it's becoming something that I have to do in order to function at work the next day. And I'm finding that I can't even pick up the phone after 8 o'clock, and it's nothing to do with you, it's me. So while I'm doing this program, I just want to ask you, can you call me before 7? I still want you to call me. Can you call me before 7 while I still have brain space for it? I love you. How different. It's not you trigger me, you activate me, you cross the line. You're a bad person, you're a bad client, you're a bad daughter, you're a bad mom. Here's what you did wrong. It's, oh my gosh, I'm just in this season of growth. I'm finding my bandwidth is a little bit shorter. I'm processing a lot of emotion. I'm finding I don't have a lot of spaciousness for like a lot of conversation, but here's when I am available. And I'd love to tell you about what's happening. That's an invitation to rise. That's an invitation to stop talking about the barking dog and the shitty neighbor and all the conflict. It's like, I'm doing this program right now and it's blowing my fucking mind. I'd love to tell you about it. That's called personal responsibility. That's you being empowered. You're no longer blaming other people for walking across your line. You're putting a line for maybe the first time, but you're doing it out of personal responsibility, not out of blaming them for how they fuck it up. Get it? Boundaries! Oh my God. I do this with my partner. I've said this with my team before. Maybe not as eloquently, but definitely like Jessie knows when I don't have brain space. I'll be like, girl, I'm in the throes. Like, put a pin in this. Don't let me forget about it. I will come back to it, but like, I can't right now. They know what that means. But it's after like a lot of time of us navigating together and we just know each other. Right? And we have a relationship where we can say, hey, I got to check out. I got to check out for the weekend. And I know what that means. It's a line. I don't take it personal, but we built to that. We can be a lot more frank with each other because we built to that. But if you've never built to that, this is how you build to that. Be responsible for you. Okay? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Got number 5. Principle number 5. You guys ready? If you are, put principle number 5. If you need to, you can tell people principle number 5, which is the conflict or the problem. If you have a repeat offender in your world who literally, like, you feel like you've told them the boundary, you feel like the boundary should be common sense, you feel like you've already said this before, and they are still walking straight up in your line and extracting your life force, and you're like, oh, damn it, I really have to be so upfront and clear what this problem is. Okay, here we go. You get to tell them the conflict or the problem. So here it is. Mine could sound like this with my partner. Okay. With all the intention in the world, I want to have the best, most amazing life with you forever and ever and ever and ever. Amen. You're my guy. Okay. Intention, clarity, responsibility. I am finding right now that after this big growth phase or this big push at work or this big project that I'm working on or whatever else is like really big on your energy plate, right? I am feeling like I just don't have the bandwidth for XYZ conflict. When you look at your energy plate and there's something that's a big conflict right now and you are needing to communicate about it, you get to tell people. I am finding personally that I can't navigate this with the amount of energy that I have right now. And specifically, here's the problem. So I specifically could tell Brad right now, when you tell me about forms I need to fill out that are in my inbox, when you tell me about the price of war in Russia, when you tell me about all these conflicts that you have right now, like, I literally don't have bandwidth for it. I can't. So you can tell them exactly what the conflict or the problem is. Let's escalate this a little bit. When you have someone who repeatedly violates your boundaries and says mean things to you, okay, I'm going to make this about God. A lot of people have this problem with like mother figures in their life, or leaders, or peers from religious organizations, right? So this is where you get to say, hey, I'm in a huge growth phase. Number one, like, I love you. We've built an amazing relationship. It's been a long time, you know, that we've been friends or we've been close or whatever. If it's a mother, it's like, you'll always be my mom. You're my mom forever. It is what it is, right? And right now I'm in a huge growth phase. I'm really working on my emotional intelligence. I'm really working on radical personal responsibility. It's growing me a lot. And also, when you say this, and this to me, I can't handle that. I make 10 steps forward, it pushes me 20 back. There's just not spaciousness for us to be this close and for you to say that to me. This can't happen anymore. You get to tell people what they're doing wrong, even if it's not comfortable for them. You get to tell people things that might not be comfortable for them to hear in order to establish clarity and tell them that there's a problem. Heather says, what is spaciousness? Like emotional availability? My energy plate is full. We're scaling to we're going after 3 million plus this year. My energy plate is full. I don't have spaciousness. Oh, I have a great example. There's a girl who used to be a client of mine, and she's no longer a client for very good reasons, and she keeps on friend requesting me and then trying to comment underneath my public posts about what she thinks of my life, and it's not always kind. If I'm asking God, universe, all my guardian angels, everything for the more that I want on my plate, there's not spaciousness on my plate to field her fucking comments. I don't have spaciousness for that. And also, she doesn't even deserve the conversation. She's not someone who I want to long-term interact with. Some people deserve these conversations. The people who are your vagina connections, 1,000,000% deserve these conversations. If you're building an empire with people, they deserve the conversation. If they're a long-term client that you love, they deserve the conversation. If they're an old friend that you've been friends with forever and it's just you're outgrowing it, they deserve the conversation. Not to be cut off, but they deserve conversation. But there are other people that don't even deserve a conversation. It's just they get the block. They get the no. They get the I don't have spaciousness for this. But when somebody deserves a conversation around making energetic and emotional boundaries, you get to say to them, like, here's the problem. Yeah, Denise, I did say that. You got to watch day number 1. Vagina connection. If it's your mama, your baby, your partner, anybody who you have a vagina connection with, like, they deserve a conversation. At least one good one. So you get to tell people, like, when you do this, this, and this, I don't have spaciousness for that. And I might never have spaciousness for that. This is a problem. So you get to tell them what's causing conflict. As a business person, I will tell people if they're causing conflict for me. I'll either turn it into a whole training and I'll address it to the entire planet because they're probably not the only person that needs to know this. Or my team will directly tell that person, verbatim, what I voicemail to the team. Like, people, they have to know what the line is. Otherwise, they don't know that they've done something wrong. Get it? So you get to tell them, here's what the conflict is for me right now. When you talk about this, and this, like, I don't have spaciousness. It doesn't stimulate me. It's not a topic that I'm interested in. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Or when you insult me, when you publicly humiliate me, when you shame me, when you talk shit on my posts on the internet, like, I don't have emotional bandwidth for that, and it's violating to me personally. So, like, this is a big conflict for me. It has to stop. Until you say that to people, they think you're fair game. You have no line. You have no bubble. Oi! They're just like, I can say whatever I want. It's free game. It's fair game. She's making public posts on the internet. I can say whatever the fuck I want to her. No, you can't. Here's the line. So you get to have these conversations with people and tell them, here's what the conflict is. Here's me being radical or responsible around why this isn't working for me. And here's what the conflict is. Are you ready for the next principle? Principle number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Principle number 6. Principle number 6. Principle number 6. Okay. I learned this one from my coach, Melanie Ann Layer. She's been my mentor since 2020. She's a freaking vibe. She said, if you're going to have, basically, I'm just going to, like, Cliff's notes, what I hear when she talks. If you're going to have a conversation with people around boundaries, you have to know what you're asking. Because a boundary being like a line or an agreement between people on how they're going to walk together is one thing. But the thing about this is, if there is not an ask, it's not effective. See, we told people what the conflict was. Telling people that there's a conflict is not the same thing as making a boundary. Watch this. If I were to say to my husband, which we've had this conversation several years ago, I was like, I grew up in a house where people shouted at each other and screamed and fought, and I don't desire to raise my kids like that. Like, I don't want my kids to ever experience that. And so the vibe is, the conflict is, shouting at each other is a no-go. Me shouting is a no-go. You shouting is a no-go. Like, that's the conflict. When we shout, it's a no-go. That's not a boundary. Telling someone, you can't shout at me, that's a rule. That's a clarification. It's not a boundary. Watch this. Number 6 is a loving ask. A loving ask. A loving ask. When you lovingly tell people, when you finally tell people that you actually do have energetic lines around you, it might shock the daylights out of them, but you've got to be like, this is because of me. This is because of me. This is what I can handle. I didn't even know that I couldn't handle it, and I'm finding out right now. Like, this is radical personal responsibility. This is a me thing. And here's the conflict that I'm coming up with. And here's my loving ask. Moving forward, can we do X, Y, Z? So if you're going to tell people, here's the line, you've got to actually have an ask there. So my ask back in the day when I had this conversation with my husband was like, listen, if you feel like things are escalating and you're feeling like you're getting heated, can you please leave the house? Like we used to fight crazy. We don't anymore, which is freaking awesome. But we used to fight like psychos. Like bad. Like couldn't get enough. Like would follow each other down the hall for more. Like getting the last word in. It was fucked up. And I was like, I just don't want to raise our kids like this. I never want them to experience that with us. I want to show them healthy conflict. And so I'm like, if it ever feels like you need a shout, like, can you leave? Can you get in the car, go for a drive? You want to shout at the windshield, you go for it, right? Can you tell me I need to cool off? I'm done talking right now. Can you say, let's put a pin in this and come back to it later when we've both gotten some clarity? I had an ask. Moving forward, can we just not fight like this? So loving ask. This is where you get to tell people, here's how I want us to interact. When a client violates my boundaries because they don't know it, they didn't read the TNC, or they otherwise just aren't familiar with the space, our loving ask from our team is like, hey, we'd love to hear this feedback, these questions, whatever. Here's where you can submit your question. We'd love it if you put it in this inbox. You can send it to us in this direction. Just don't call Xtina. Don't private message Xtina on her Marco Polo. We don't interact that way. We'd love to have it right here. Loving ask. Whoop. Loving ask. Okay? And number 7. Once you've given them a loving ask, there's so many examples of this. Can you please call me before 7 o'clock? Can you please reserve that question for later on today? Or can you put a pin in that and tell me it later so that I can remember it? Because right now I don't have bandwidth. Loving ask. Can we meet next week? Can I reschedule? Can we talk about something else? Loving ask. Okay, and number 7, principle number 7, this is our last one. You ready? Exit or elevate. Exit or elevate. Exit or elevate. When you get the guts to have a conversation like this with somebody, it's going to result in one of 2 things. 1, it's going to show you that it's time to exit. I don't believe in cancel culture. I believe in giving people a fair chance. I believe in inviting people to rise. I believe that when you get bored of a relationship or things are going stale or they're getting frustrating, you get to have these conversations with clarity, intention, radical personal responsibility, letting people know what the conflict is, right? You get to do all of this. You get to have a loving ask. And depending how they take that, you get to exit or elevate. There will be people who do not take to these conversations kindly, and it doesn't matter how loving you are. They, in their own woundings, will freak the fuck out. This is where the personal responsibility comes in, because if it feels like you are accusing people of something, it's not good for them. So if they freak the fuck out, you get to exit. It could be an indication that the thing that you hope for, which was a long-term healthy relationship, it just might not be available. Not everyone is available for it. You can want something for people that they don't want. You can give people chances that they don't take. This is the risk of love. So you get to either exit, and you get to tell people this, because watch this. A real boundary is not just telling people, you can't do this to me. It's telling them, if you do this to me, this is what happens. So watch this. If it was the phone call conversation with my mom, if my mom didn't want me calling her after 7 o'clock, she could tell me, I'm in some big personal growth, personal responsibility. I'm finding myself not able to take phone calls. I go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night, personal responsibility. Conflict, here it is. I know you love to talk late at night, and I just can't seem to have bandwidth for it. I just don't have it. Loving ask. I still want you to call. I still want to know what's going on in your life. This is not me telling you not to call. I love you. Please still call, but will you call me at like 6? Or even before that. Or you could even Marco Polo me and leave it there, and I'll get it the next day. Loving ask. Okay? Watch this. Exit or elevate. Exit or elevate. Watch this. If you call me after 7, I'm not going to pick up. Not right now. That could change. But I can't right now. For me to elevate would be for me to say, I can do that. By the way, what personal development thing are you doing? Can I do it too? It sounds like it's really impacting you. What book are you doing? That's an elevate. And if I were to be like, you're my mom, you owe me, how selfish, I can't believe you. Why did you even have kids if you didn't want to take care of us? My mom could exit. She could be like, listen, I'm doing my best here. I'll pick up the phone in my time. And if it's going to be like this, maybe I don't pick up for a little while. Ooh! In friendships, say you're doing this work. Say you did Clear to Soar last year. Say you're doing this masterclass and you become that person who gets a little bit on their high horse. You're like, oh, damn, I did some personal development. I'm seeing what's on my energy plate. I'm seeing all these people that don't belong on my energy plate. And now I'm going to cut those suckers off. Like, okay, no. If you love people and it's been a long-term thing and you want a long-term thing with them, they deserve this conversation. And at the end of the conversation, which could look like, hey, Kelly, I have been doing so much work around my emotional intelligence. Oh my God. It's wild, girl. And I'm just finding like there's certain conversations that I don't even find stimulating anymore. And there's also a bunch of stuff that I really want to talk about, like so want to talk about. And it's so interesting. So what I'm finding is there's like this feeling in my body when we talk about certain stuff. Like, remember when we were on the beach the other day and you were telling me about the crazy dog in your neighborhood and like your father-in-law and the addition on the house and stuff like that. Like, I don't know why, but lately I just don't have emotional bandwidth to talk about that kind of stuff. And it's a me thing. It's not a you thing. It's a me thing. So I want to ask, I know this is next level, but like, will you do the Clear to Soar thing with me? Or can I tell you about what's happening internally for me right now? Can we talk about that kind of stuff more? Like, I want you to do it too. Like, I don't want to be doing this by myself. I want us to do this together. I want to evolve with you. Loving ask. And if they say, how fucking rude. I can't believe that you don't care about the addition on the house. And like, I'm sorry that my dog in my neighborhood just isn't cool enough to talk to you about anymore. Exit. It's like, okay, if this is what this is and this is all that this can be, I love you. We've had such a long relationship and I have to limit how much time I spend here because I don't have emotional bandwidth for it. That could change, but for now, like, I'm just gonna limit. I gotta protect my own stuff right now. I'm in such a growth season. I want it with you, and also if it can't be with you, I gotta limit. And if your friend were like, oh my God, I have noticed you are like shifting big time. What the fuck are you doing? To elevate would be for her to be like, Clear to Soar conference? What's that? August 2023? I'm going. That would be an elevate. So we just brought this full circle. This is how you complete an incompletion with the people in your world that matter so much. Watch this. It's an acronym. Circle. Full circle. Have clarity. That's C. Know your intention. That's I. Radical personal responsibility. That's R. Tell them what the conflict is. That's a C. Loving ask. That's an L. And exit or elevate. That's an E. Full circle conversation. You do not have to be afraid of boundaries. They are a lifeline. Full circle. Complete your incompletions. If you've never had boundaries before, like, this is a loving way to have boundaries. This is a way to start communicating with clarity how you want to interact with people in your life. Full circle. With love, with intention, with clarity, with a loving, clear ask, with an exit strategy, with a hope that they'll elevate with you. This is how to not play into the stupid game of cancel culture. There are people who are worth these conversations. Give them a shot. That's full circle. Now, I have something for you. If you have loved this, this is the tip of the iceberg. After years in business with women, I have found that these topics are the things that I adore training. They feed into business, they feed into wealth, they help women rise. And this last winter, we did something called Clear to Soar. Do you remember that? It was a big old vibe. There was over 100 women in there, and we did emotional intelligence work, energetic clearing, and we help people to get ready for their next level. Now, our clients are still talking about that, and stuff like this right here, this is like the foundations of the rest of your life being juicy and fun and exciting. There's a fresh new season available for you, and I want to walk with you. So if you've loved this, I have 3 things. 1, If you missed Clear to Soar or you want the replays of it, you can get it right now with the Sisterhood membership. The Sisterhood is going to run all of 2023. We meet monthly. The next meeting is not this Friday, but the following one, I believe. The Sisterhood is a place where you will learn emotional intelligence, energetic maintenance, and how to grow in sisterhood, including stuff like conflict resolution. A lot of stuff gets healed there. It's incredible. It's not just for entrepreneurs. Anyone can join. And I suggest that you bring your mother and your sister and your business partner, and you guys all join and be part of it. So the Sisterhood is the first space that I would invite you to. The Sisterhood, it's $77 a month right now, or $555 for the year, I believe. So that's Sisterhood. That's the first place I would invite you to. If you loved this content, you'll love, love, love the Sisterhood. The second space that I want to invite you into is a place called Locked and Loaded. I mentioned a little bit about wanting to develop entrepreneurs in 2023, and Locked and Loaded is the place for that. If you're growing a personal brand, if you want to learn emotional intelligence alongside developing your business, if you want touch points with me every single week, live trainings, and access to mastermind with me every single month, Locked and Loaded is the vibe. Right now we have Locked and Loaded in many different varieties. You can do monthly installments of it for $2,222. There's a paid in full option for $22K, which if you look at the other masterminds right now for entrepreneurs, that is a very inexpensive mastermind for what's included in it. It should probably be closer to $50K, but I like it how it is. So that space, Locked and Loaded, it's all of our trainings for the year. A mastermind that runs 365 days a year. A VIP with me every single month and all the Locked and Loaded babes. Live trainings every single week, and a checkpoint with me personally and my team every week as well. So that's another place that you can be. Locked and Loaded it is. I also referenced in here where we do like live retreats. We're only doing one executive retreat coming up next year. And right now, if you want to be part of that retreat, the precursor to that is you have to be a Locked and Loaded member. So in order to come to our executive retreat, you can only do it if you're a Locked and Loaded member, and there is an upgrade fee to do it. So the retreat on its own right now is $15,000, and it's next level. Like, I've attended a lot of retreats. I've held a lot of in-person things, and this is the most high-level thing I've ever done in terms of retreats. It will change your fucking life. I don't even know. I don't know what else to say. We'll be posting content from it, but like, I don't even have other words for it. If you were there and you have words for it, please elaborate. But it's a 7-day executive retreat for Locked and Loaded. It's $15K right now. We're going to run a promo for those of you who want to join Locked and Loaded and you want the retreat. You can do both. You can do both either on payment plan of $2,999 a month. So less than $3K gives you a year-round mastermind and a retreat. Insane. Or there's a pay in full discount if you do all of it together. I want to say it's like $33,000. If you're wanting a spot inside of Locked and Loaded, in my opinion, and I've been in a lot of things, this is the hottest place for women entrepreneurs in 2023. If you're building a personal brand and you want all the bones of building your brand, this is the hottest spot to be. So there's your offer number 2. The third place that I want to tell you about that I find very exciting, is that I have been being called in my soul and in my spirit to host conferences, plural. So our team is currently mapping out 2 conferences. One is coming live in August this year. It's the Clear to Soar Conference. Clear to Soar Conference is happening. Clear to Soar Conference. So it'll be August this year in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. We're picking between 2 weekends right now and securing the location. But for right now, the pre-sale tickets reflect the fact that you got to be loose on the dates. Like, we're going to shore up the dates by the end of this month. We're going to go scout our locations. Okay. But the vibe is Clear to Soar Conference is coming up. It's going to be a 3-day conference. We're looking at weekend dates, which is a huge vibe. So it's 1, 2, 3 days. The focus is going to be on women. So we're not going to sell tickets for couples or men at this time. This one's going to be around sisterhood. I want to do a whole sisterhood conference this time. Now, the vibe here is energetic clearing, emotional intelligence, shoring up your gaps around sisterhood and communication, and elevating into the next level version of you. It's clear to soar. It's, imagine a hot air balloon, how they have the little tie downs. Like, you have emotional tie downs that keep you to the ground. And in Clear to Soar, we cut all the tie downs and we release you to fly to your highest destiny. That's the whole freaking point. So this is not exclusive to entrepreneurs. Anyone can come. I would say if there's someone who needs a boundaries conversation in your life, invite them to do Clear to Soar with you, the conference. Or invite them to be in the sisterhood with you. But I'm so happy to announce tickets to Clear to Soar Conference for August 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia. The tickets are live right now. There will be general admission tickets available right now for either $555 per person. Such a crazy price. Or if you want to do a payment plan on it, you can do 5 payments between now and August of $144 each. Payment plan. So good. So good. And that's a general admission ticket that gets you into the conference for 3 days in Atlanta. We're also selling a limited amount of VIP tickets. You'll know if it's for you. The VIP tickets are going to give you access to priority seating, so premier seating in the front of the room, swag, the swag, and luncheons with myself and my team during the conference. So not only conference access, which I won't be getting out and like walking the room during this conference just because of the volume of people that I see probably being there. But if you want some proximity and time with the team and you want to come hang out and do like the luncheon vibes with us, a limited number of VIP tickets will be sold. And those are either payment plan. You can do 5 payments of $455 or a pay in full of $2,222 for VIP tickets. So the tickets are live right now. I'm freaking ecstatic. I've been wanting to do a bigger event like this for a long time. And for context, when you come to our retreats, they're anywhere from $3,000 for like a 3-day retreat or like $15,000 for our executive retreat. So our normal like events and retreats, they're high ticket. So for context, this is a big deal. To put on a full-blown 3-day Clear to Soar conference and open it up with this price tag that's much more accessible with payment plans, this is like a dream come true for me. I cannot freaking wait. So there's a limited number of VIP. I'm hoping to have, this is my vision, 200 people there with general admission. This is my vision. Sorry, 200 people. Yeah, 200 people with general admission. We'll sell approximately like 40 to 50 of the VIP. And then we're maxed. We're sold out. This is like my baby this summer. And we're so excited to share it. So if you loved this and you've been craving a live event, come to the Clear to Soar conference. Ticket sales are available now. they're just going to keep on. I just know it. They're just going to keep on becoming more in demand. I can feel it. I have a feeling it's going to sell out. I have a feeling it's going to be the craziest thing that I've ever done in my life. People have been telling me it's only like 250 is just the beginning for you. But I want to see the impact of women having this level of sisterhood, emotional intelligence, and healing. So if you loved this free masterclass, this is the tip of the iceberg. Get your ticket now. I would encourage you to do it now. I know it sounds like 200 tickets is a lot, but I promise you, get it now while there's payment plans. Get it now while there's spaciousness. Get it now before the VIP sell out. Because if you think about it, the VIP tickets, there's that many people in my masterminds. Like, those could sell out pretty fast. And there's payment plans for all of it. So that's my invite. 3 different places we can hang. The Sisterhood, super entry level. Locked and Loaded if you're looking for a mastermind. And Clear to Soar Conference if you want to come live in person. General admission is $555. Payment plans available. VIP is $2,222. Payment plans available. All right, guys. I love you. That's all for this month. If you have somebody who you know should be here, like, tag them, tell them. And on Friday, I'll be doing a drawing for those of you who share the graphic about the space. Okay, love you. Bye.